Rhino?
All right, welcome to LongShots TV. We've got a very, very special episode for you tonight. We're going to be talking postseason baseball with a special guest of ours, one of our top handicappers, CJ the Razor. How you doing, CJ?
Good. How you doing, Rhino?
I'm doing awesome, man. I'm glad to have you on. I've been wanting to get you on here, talk some baseball, and get to know you and see what your thoughts are on this postseason race. What do you think of the playoffs so far?
Well, it's been surprising to say the least, I guess. I mean, I think we all can agree that, a lot of us with Texas would still be in there. We wouldn't think Boston would be in the position they're in, and it's been a ride for sure. It's been pretty exciting, but I think it's a lot of unexpected things happen here. But that's postseason baseball for you.
It sure is. You never know what's going to happen with this. I know there's a couple of games going on right now. Washington at LA. Washington is actually leading 5-3 right now. Jansen is pitching for Washington right now, and Harper is in for the Dodgers. They started off with Gonzalez and Maeda, and they are in the top of the ninth, and there is a runner on first. So tell us, CJ, what your thoughts are on that game today.
Well, this was actually one of the free plays that I released, and it is actually the biggest postseason bet that I've made up to date. And I had the Washington Nationals winning this game outright. And basically, the whole thing boiled down to the pitching matchup, right from the start. It was Kenta Maeda versus Gio Gonzalez.
Right.
On paper, that looks like an obvious mismatch. Gonzalez has been gradually declining as the years have gone on. Some people are even questioning whether he still has it or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a far cry from his 2012 season. Maeda, I mean, on the other hand, rookie coming out of Japan, and he's been, he's been very impressive in this first season here, and I think he's achieved more than what a lot of people might have expected. But I think the whole thing with this game was that at the end of the day, it's still a transition for him coming to the MLB. In Japan, they're used to 143 games, which means about 2 to 3 less starts for him.
Wow.
And so basically, I mean, you can see the fatigue kicking in the last 3 games of the season. I mean, the last game against the Dodgers there in his regular season finale, it didn't go very well. It was probably the worst game he pitched all season. Actually, it was easily the worst game he pitched all season. So,
right.
The way I see it, he's kind of he's had a few days off for sure, longer rest than usual. Not that it's really benefited him over the course of the season, but I think it's a learning curve for him. And, he's still as good as he is. He's in the process of just getting adjusted. And, I don't think it was a surprise to me to see him out of the game by the 3rd inning. So that's kind of what I based my bet off. I mean, I know we still got a little bit of baseball to go here, and the bullpens, it's in their hands right now. But I just kind of felt that it was a good spot to take the Nationals, and the fact that Gio Gonzalez is a left-handed curveball pitcher,
right?
And the Dodgers, they're the worst team against lefties this year, and I didn't think that was going to change. I mean, I know it's the playoffs; it's more guided by emotions than anything, but there's just some things that kind of hold value, and the fact that LA just can't hit lefties this year, I mean, they were at a major disadvantage today, despite what the line was saying.
Right, absolutely. And then the 6 o'clock game tonight, which is underway, you got Cleveland's Tomlin going up against Boston's Buchholz. The score right now is 2-1 in favor of Cleveland, top of the 6th. They do have a runner on first. And let's see, Pomerantz actually is in. Ramirez is batting right now. I'm struggling to see the name, but that's another game that a lot of people were on Boston on that one. CJ, is that kind of the way you were leaning?
I've been totally stumped on this entire series here. I don't think I've made a bet on this series, to be honest. And the main reason is that I didn't want to underestimate Cleveland. I mean, on paper, that rotation with all the injuries, they look like the worst one, but we know that's not what baseball playoffs is about, because
right.
If it was the best rotation, it'd be the Dodgers winning every other year. But in this case, I just did not want to underestimate them, but at the same time, I didn't want to doubt Boston either. I mean, Poppy's in his final farewell tour, and
right.
I knew they were going to have some kind of incentive here, and they're usually a pretty clutch team. They got a lot of guys in there that have been there before. But am I surprised by what's going on right now? Absolutely. I mean, Cleveland's on the verge of a sweep right now, and that's something I never would have imagined in my wildest dreams in these
Yeah,
playoffs.
me either. That's a crazy one. It's good for Cleveland. Obviously, they've been so close so many times that I'm sure they can taste it. But I don't think anybody is going to have a hard time getting past the Cubs, though. Let's see. The 9:30 game is Chicago and San Francisco. Arrieta and Bumgarner. A lot of people like Bumgarner in this matchup. But like I said, it's going to be hard stopping those Cubbies. Do you think they can get the sweep out there?
I think they can, but if San Francisco is going to win a game in this series, it's going to be tonight.
Right.
It's I'm not putting my money on either side here. I just expect a real low-scoring game. I know Arrieta's not quite the guy he was last year, but I mean, let's be realistic. No one can really keep that up over the course of a long period of time. So Arrieta's still what he's worth. He's an ace. I mean, he's dropped to the number 3 spot over there just because there are a couple other Cy Young candidates on the team, but at the end of the day, I mean, he's going to come out big when he needs to. He's got a whole lot of rest here, but I mean, Madison Bumgarner, you can't expect anything less than a stellar start because that's just what he is in the postseason. So I'm going to say a low-scoring game. Both guys go deep into the game, but you're right. I mean, the Cubs, they're just such a tough team to beat this year, and I mean, they've had lightning in the bottle basically the whole season.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just looking through some of the batting averages here. You got the top 2 guys are actually Murphy for the Nationals and Turner for the Dodgers, batting .667 in the postseason. So, that's some big bats right there. And then right behind them is Kipnis for the Indians, and then Ramirez also for the Indians batting .571. The next guy is Bays for the Cubs hitting .500. So, got some bats that are on fire right there, and definitely could take them through the rest of the way. Tomorrow night, CJ, you've got Cleveland at Boston again, if necessary. Washington at L.A. Cleveland has already announced that Bauer would pitch, and Boston would send Porcello out there if that game happens. If it does, I mean, what do you see there?
Well, if the Red Sox actually force a game 4 here, I think they're going to get some momentum swing. I mean, that's what the MLB is all about. It's about rhythm. It's about confidence at the plate. About pressure.
Right.
And the starters, I guess it is kind of hard to predict how each one's going to come out. But I mean, you got Bauer and Tomlin here doing their thing, and they've been outstanding so far. I mean, for what it's worth, like they haven't really been in this position before, and they're not showing any signs of a lack of confidence or anything. It seems like the team is just in good spirit, good confidence, good rhythm. It's going to be hard to say because Porcello, I know he lost the first game here, but the Red Sox, they've been pretty strong behind him.
Right.
And it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be real hard to say. I think this series, as unpredictable as it's been already, it's just going to get even harder if this goes the distance.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and then I was saying Washington and L.A., the pitchers there are undecided, and in Chicago, San Francisco, you got John Lackey going against Moore. So if that game happens as well, you got Lackey. He's been pretty tough, but he's had his ups and downs, hasn't he, CJ?
John Lackey's had his ups and downs for sure. I mean, he is at the tail end of his career, but let's not forget 3 years ago what he did with the Red Sox. I mean, experience sometimes is what makes a difference, and he definitely has that to his advantage. I mean, Matt Moore, he's the fastball kind of guy, where I know he tends to struggle in the first inning, and ultimately that could be the difference. If he gives up a couple runs in the first and it's lights out for the rest, I mean, that might be just enough to do him away. But, it's going to be another tough one, but, I just don't see the Giants having the same kind of clutchness that they've had in the last few years. I know the whole even year theory is kind of a hyped up thing right now. A lot of people are talking about I mean, they've proven it themselves. Over the last since 2010, they've won on every even year. But this year, I know they have a lot of the same guys, but that that lightning in a bottle concept is just not there right now. I mean,
Right.
if they can come back in the series, absolutely. But right now, I'm going to have to say I think the Cubs are going to take it.
Yep. Okay, that's exactly the way I was thinking. We haven't talked about the Toronto Blue Jays. Of course, they already swept the Rangers. Who would have thought that, CJ?
Not me, that's for sure.
I don't think
I
anybody
mean,
did. I
I'm
mean,
in Canada. The people here are a lot more. They believe in the Jays a lot more than they do down there. That's for sure. So I mean, you get a lot of people here that are on the bandwagon, and
right.
so the vibe is a little bit different up here than it is there. But the bottom line is Toronto was a major underdog in there, and that sweep was. I mean, winning the series is one thing, but sweeping, I mean,
Yeah. Impressive.
it's very impressive. Yeah.
Okay. Well, what they're waiting to see who they're going to play, and what do we see going forward here, CJ? How do you think the rest of this up to the World Series is going to play out in your mind?
Baseball's the toughest sport to predict. It's the only sport I feel where everyone that makes it in, including the wild cards, have a chance to win it all. And I mean, there's been proof of that in the last few years alone.
Right.
It's a lot different from basketball where, there's about 4 teams that have a shot and everybody else you can kind of count out, but in baseball, anybody can win. And it's going to be tough to predict, but I think I can see Cleveland coming out of the AL. They just seem to be that team where not many people know about Bauer, not many people know about Tomlin and
Right.
what they're capable of. They're gearing up for Kluber and all the other aces that are involved. And I mean, Toronto, they've got that offense that everyone's got their eyes on. But I mean, these are where dark horses are made. Playoff heroes, and I think Cleveland's going to be that Cinderella team this year to
Awesome.
represent the AL. And
Okay.
for the National League, I mean, I hate to sound boring, but the Cubs,
Yeah.
they haven't had a bad streak all year. I think the worst they've gone for a stretch is probably a couple weeks at the most. So why stop now? They just seem to be that team of destiny this year, and it may never happen again, but it's their year. I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. At the beginning of the season, I did pick the Chicago Cubs to win it all this year.
Oh, congrats!
Yeah. So I'm,
You,
I'm
you have a good shot right now for sure.
absolutely, and I think the curse is broken. But we'll hold on to that. We don't want to jinx them, right? Okay, so World Series play, the two teams, obviously, you were just saying that you think Cleveland and Chicago are going to be there. The question then becomes, can Cleveland beat Chicago in the series?
I think anything's possible, but I'm going to say this year it's going to be one of those Cinderella stories where they fall short. We've seen it so many times in sports.
Right.
They just run out of steam right when it matters the most. And Chicago's just a team that hasn't run out of steam this year. Some may argue that they haven't faced that much adversity, but they're handling it just fine right now against arguably the most clutch team in the last 5 years. So,
Absolutely.
I think it's their year, and anything can happen, like I said, but I can see the Cubs winning it all this year.
All right. So, do you have any inside tips or information on the series going forward for some of our investors out there?
For which series?
Oh, for any of them. I mean, is there anything that you have uncovered that might lead one way or the other to a real good pick, or maybe a side or total in one of the upcoming series?
I think value-wise, I mean, you got to go with the Cleveland Indians to represent the AL. I know you're not going to get much value for the Cubs, whether it's winning the next series or winning the World Series. So I think the way to go is just to. I think Cleveland would be the value player here. I mean, I'm definitely more of a situational capper. I'm a day-by-day kind of guy, and that's why I love baseball.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, for what the money's worth, for the most bang for your buck, I got to say Cleveland to represent the AL. That'd be my pick.
That's the value. Okay. Awesome. Okay, and I do see that we're in the bottom of the ninth. Washington and LA Dodgers. Washington tacked on three more. It's now 8-3. So if you had the over in that game, you're a winner. Cleveland, Boston still 4-1, top of the sixth, and that one I think is, well, it's going to be tough for Boston to come back and beat them here.
Yeah, I mean the pressure just keeps getting higher and higher at the plate here, and they basically got 12 outs left to get it done, and
Yep.
they're 3 runs behind. They're gonna have, they're gonna need some, some supernatural help from this whole Big Poppy run to
Yeah.
rebound from this. It's going to be tough. I don't see them coming back, but
How impressive
again,
has
it's
Big
baseball.
Poppy been this year? I mean, he announced that he's going to retire. This is his last season, and it's a great way to go out, I think, for those type of players. But in your opinion, I mean, sum this guy up, CJ.
Well, you know what? I think he should just keep on playing. To be honest, I mean, he's not showing any signs of decline at all.
Right.
He's not the guy that really needs to run a whole lot. So I mean, swing the bat, just keep going, and I just wish he'd play on a little longer. It's not like Derek Jeter where you could see an obvious decline towards the end, but
Right.
in his case, I mean, he's just a legend. Like this guy's one of the greatest hitters of all time, and I think he should just keep going till his body gives out. But that's his choice, and he's made a lot of money. He's got his retirement plan early, so
Right.
it's all the respect to him, though. I mean, he was definitely a hell of a guy to watch for Boston.
Absolutely. Those are going to be some memories that are going to be fun to look back on, and obviously a candidate for the Hall of Fame. And we'll see him there in Cooperstown soon, or Cooperstown. What am I talking about? For the what am I trying to say? In the Hall of Fame. That's what I meant.
He'll be remembered, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Who do you see? Who do you think, or who is your pick for the MVP or MVP candidate this year?
Daniel Murphy's numbers have been outstanding, just his batting average, and I'm more the kind of guy that leans towards that more than the power numbers.
Uh-huh.
And to maintain a 340 average through the course of the season, I mean that's been done, absolutely, but it's just something that deserves recognition in my opinion. I mean, I think it should go to him. I know Chris Bryant, Corey Seager, they're absolutely fantastic candidates, but they have their whole careers ahead of them. I don't doubt they're gonna each win one, if not multiple MVPs in their time.
Okay, absolutely. All right, one last little topic before we go, and that's going to be the Monday Night Football game. Tampa Bay Bucks playing the Carolina Panthers, and this is a game where we're looking at injury reports and going, basically the Water Boys playing cornerback today. What do you see in that game tonight, CJ?
It's exactly that. Yeah, it's real tough to really get a gauge on how things are going to play out there. I mean, the Carolina Panthers, they've been an unpredictable team as they have been all along. But I have a feeling that the Bucks are going to kind of underestimate that whole concept. Cam Newton reigning MVP, and just so much hype involving the guy that this is going to feel like a step down. And I think they're going to score a lot more than a lot of people think. And
Right.
I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. It's nothing I would ever go big on. Just a lean, but I think it's going to go over 46 points tonight.
Yeah, put some lunch money on it. I was feeling the same way. That was my read. It's just going to be a haphazard game, and there's going to be a few I actually figured the score is going to be somewhere around 38-34, something like that.
Absolutely. That's I'd guess somewhere up there too. Like it's going to be one of those kind of games where
Right.
Kind of defense is just kind of takes a back seat. Like you get those kind of games. I know most Monday nighters, they try to keep it tight. They're on national TV, isolated, and but I think this one's going to be a shootout here.
All right. Well, CJ, it's been a lot of fun. I appreciate you coming on and sharing the information with us. We look forward to talking to you in the future. And just to let you folks know that next Monday night, CJ's going to be back on with us, and hopefully we'll have some video for you this time. And we are going to talk preseason NHL. I can't wait. Hockey. I love hockey. I love my Red Wings. So, CJ, who's your hockey team?
I was born in Alberta, or I grew up in Alberta. I'm an Edmonton Oilers fan.
Okay.
I've got some high hopes for them this year. I mean, they've let me down for the last decade, so I'm not going to say too much. But
Right.
the season starts on Wednesday, so it's going to be exciting. I'm already kind of analyzing a lot of things for what I'm going to do on Wednesday,
Okay.
and yeah, from here on, I mean, this is my other sport here, so
All right. It's
I'm
grind
definitely
time.
excited for it.
Yeah, NHL is one of my better sports as well. So definitely am looking forward to that. We're actually trying to get an on-camera interview with Dylan Larkin this month sometime. We have
Oh, for the Red Wings.
yeah, we have communications going back and forth on it right now. We're hoping to have him on. That'd be a great interview, I think. So, all right, CJ, well, I appreciate it. CJ is a major contributor at trendbetting.com. You can go over to trendbetting.com and see CJ, or you can message him at CJ the Razor on Twitter and talk to him about his packages and picks. He's always available to talk to you. CJ, it's been a great show. Look forward to talking to you soon. And you have yourself a great night, and look forward to talking to you next Monday, buddy.
All right, thanks a lot, Ryan. It's a pleasure to be on here.
All
Take
right.
care. Bye.
All right, guys. That's been the show. We'll see you next Monday. Actually, we'll see you Friday night first with Donnie right side again to run down football for you, and then Saturday morning football and Sunday morning football. Be 9 o'clock on Friday, 11 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday, and we are hoping to have another show with Cole McGillis for NASCAR to get some inside information on the Sprint Cup Series. So, all right, look forward to seeing you guys then. This is Tony the Rhino reminding you, take a shot with long shots. We are the game. Even gets